morning to you, our viewers. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Camnet TV Breakfast Show of today being Monday, the 29th of May 2023. I hope you're having a lovely and beautiful morning. I am your host, Miriam Kaimbandi. In studio, I'm not alone. I'm joined by my beautiful colleague, Zipram Shalom, where we're going to be, taking you into various topics this morning. Zipo, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam, and good morning to our lovely viewers out there. It's a wonderful Monday morning, but for us, Miriam, for me, I'm feeling a bit chill. I've gotten into, June too early with a fever and all that, but I'm sure I'm going to be okay.
Anyway, I wish you a quick recovery. Yeah, exactly. So what do we have for our viewers this morning? What do we expect?
Yes, definitely. So today we have a very interesting topic. We are talking about, land wrangles in markets. I'm sure last week we did carry a number of stories, Miriam, at Kamwala Market. That's Kamwala trading area here in Lusaka, where first of all on Thursday we did a story where a Chinese investor has allegedly, bought off land where the traders were selling at Lubama Market there. And secondly, on Friday we did a story, where there was a wrangle between those who are selling along the line of rail and truck drivers, those people who transport goods, from the shops there. When people buy things, they help in transporting, or they also help to load the shop. So they're saying they're now being forced to park on the road because, people are putting up permanent structures along the line of rail, mobile money booths, and everything. And so now they're being pushed back onto the road. So they're saying, why should anyone be allowed to build along a rail reserve?
Yeah, it's not even allowed. And that's a danger and a risk to other people's lives.
Yes, definitely. It's very dangerous. And we found even children sleeping, Miriam, a stone's throw away, literally a small space. There's a child here, and the rail line is here because that's where the mother is selling,
And we have
it's really dangerous.
Almost on a daily basis passing that area.
Extremely dangerous. So we're going to talk about land wrangles in communities. The head of state has been talking about, restoring the rule of law.
Yeah.
And what are we doing in terms of, land wrangles in markets?
Indeed, we need to ensure that we see sanity at the end of the day. But anyway, right about now, we go direct into our healthy corner and just see what the doctors have for us this morning.
Good morning. I'm glad that you could join us today again for yet another interesting topic. And this week we'll be looking at asthma. Asthma is a common condition amongst us, and there are many people that have this condition. So we want to understand how it comes about and also how you can prevent asthma. Then we'll talk about the signs and symptoms as well, and also how it's treated in the hospital. So asthma usually affects a lot of people, and even children are also affected. About 17 million children in the world are affected by asthma. It affects anybody, whether it's an adult or a child, but usually it starts from childhood. Usually the symptoms present themselves when the person is still very young. And asthma usually comes about because of allergic reaction. So people who have allergies or who are allergic to so many things can also end up having asthma in the long run. So it comes about because the respiratory system, or your lungs, which are part of your respiratory system, your lungs, your trachea, your bronchi, they become so reactive, and so they overreact to certain substances in the environment. So tomorrow we'll talk about some of the triggers of asthma, what really triggers asthma. But today we'll focus more on what it really is. So like I said, it's a hyperresponsiveness in the chest, in your lungs and your airways, basically. So this hyperresponsiveness causes excess mucus production. There's a lot of mucus that is produced in the airways that causes some blockages in the airways. So the person will not be able to breathe well, and the air will not be able to reach the lungs. And it also causes a narrowing of these airways. So they'll become very, very small, and they become swollen because of the hyperresponsiveness that is going on, and the way that the body is responding to the triggers such as dust. So if you're allergic to so many things, if you're allergic to certain substances in the environment, you can easily have asthma, because your body is reacting to those allergens that we call allergens, that can result in you having this hyperresponsiveness in the chest. So the other thing with asthma is that people with asthma would present with wheezing. So they would have chest tightness and they would have wheezing. So they would not be able to breathe well, and that is how come they would end up going to the hospital. So today we're talking about what asthma is. We say that asthma is a chronic inflammatory disease that results from a hyperresponsiveness to certain substances in the environment, such as dust. Tomorrow we'll talk about some of the other triggers of asthma, so make sure that you watch, and if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on Facebook at Dr. Nakuyena Mfaya. And if you need to watch any of the other videos, you can watch them on YouTube at Dr. Nakuyena Mfaya as well. I'll see you again next time. Take care and God bless.
I hope you have gotten one or two things there from the doctors, but make sure that when you are not feeling well, please do not just stay at home and do this self-prescription. Please make sure that you visit your healthy facility. But anyway, right about now, go direct into our money market. So we have the euro there buying at 20 kwacha 52 ngwe and selling at 20 kwacha 92 ngwe. We have the Great British Pound there buying at 23 kwacha 61 ngwe and selling at 24 kwacha 08 ngwe. We have the United States dollar there buying at 19 kwacha 11 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 48 ngwe. We have the South African rand there buying at 98 ngwe and selling at 99 ngwe. Looking at the United States dollar there, it seems like we're heading towards 20 zip on the selling part, because we're just at 19 kwacha 48 in Gwe.
It is quite dangerous. Both on the buying and selling part are actually past the 19 kwacha mark, and this of course relates, in
it's already an adult.
but definitely always hope for the best, and to the stakeholders out there, I'm sure they can help, with alternative policies that can help our culture perform, because it is for our own good as a country.
Exactly, and we're moving forward to some of the stories that we did have over the weekend. So I really don't know how to explain this, Sipora, but we saw an acting head teacher in Chawama beating a teacher.
Corporal punishment. Because normally they just, maybe they warn you, they'll get upset, but imagine corporal punishment.
I really didn't understand this.
He took it literally, from the pupil down to the teacher.
Yeah, to the teacher, but was it, okay, in your own perception or understanding, do you think it was right for the head teacher, in as much as the teacher might have done something which was illegal, was it right for the head teacher to take such an action?
I think it was unprofessional, really, Miriam. Imagine, Miriam, if you ever do anything, should the teacher here come and whip you? I think that head teacher, needs the acting deputy head teacher, needs some training in leadership skills, because I'm sure, anytime they take it for granted, like, okay, this person has worked for many years, therefore they know what to do. But I'm sure, some training in leadership skills can at least help them act professionally.
Yeah, so Davis Chiwala, aged 43, of John Howard compound, was assaulted by a teacher, an acting head teacher of Chawama. That was on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, and the police did issue a statement where they said the victim sustained a swollen right hand as the stick is alleged to have been used to inflict the injury. Quite sad. But anyway, we wish him a quick recovery. Yeah, and just see how far this matter will go. But anyway, let's get direct into playing the story.
Well, the importance of teachers in any given society cannot be overemphasized, as they play a key role in ensuring that children are inculcated with good morals and grow up into responsible citizens. But one wonders if a vengeful martial arts at the school premises would be considered a good example to learners. Davis Chwala, aged 43, a teacher at Chawama Primary School, has been assaulted by the acting deputy head teacher, who has been identified as Mr. Kwalombota Sakabilo by the police. This was after the acting deputy head teacher was confronted by Mr. Chwala for being accused of ignoring school pupils illegally.
Well, what long have I done for you to start telling me to say to people, start selling my name to people, feeling that I don't do? No, can you be talking to me like that? You know that mean the porona, porona. Nokusaima even took, that's how he took it chiwembia. Nokusa nshapula pako kuino kumulemo noku kokondelango.
He explains that Mr. Sakabilo bragged of being a well-connected individual to the people in high authority, and that the case would go nowhere, as he justified previous accusations of allegedly subjecting pupils to illegal fees.
Sir, since you came in here, you have been speaking about me. I've been hearing a lot about me. You have been speaking a lot about me to say, no, this one, no, what he does, at these are the people who are reporting me to State House. These are the people who are capturing me. These are the people who are doing this. I can call the minister because me, I'm connected. I know the minister. Me, I know the president. I know everyone. I can call. You know why I'm here because the minister knows that I'm here. The president knows that I'm here. Even this receipt, the pupils that I was charging school fees to pay, I took this receipt to the president or to the minister. Even the minister is aware about this. He's in her office. She told me to say, no, I work on this. In charging pupils, he have receipts that he has telling to say those pupils who failed, the pupils that he has been charging 1,000 school fees, and he has the receipts which he was showing me to say, these are the receipts. I've even given the PS to say, the PS, this is what you have been doing. Even the PS knows, even the money, some money we shared goes to the PS. Even the DESO knows, even some money goes to the DESO.
Okay. Zambia police spokesperson Ray Amonga has confirmed the incident to Camnet TV News.
Chawama police station received a report of assault occasioning actual bodily harm from Davis Chwala, aged 43, of unmarked house number in John Howard compound, a teacher at Chawama Primary School, to the effect that he was assaulted by the acting deputy head teacher at Chawama Secondary School, a Mr. Kwalombota Sakabilo. The victim sustained a swollen right hand as a stick is alleged to have been used to inflict the injury. This occurred on the 26th of May 2023 around 17 hours in Chawama. A medical report form was issued to the victim and a docket of case has since been opened. Investigations are ongoing.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
It's quite a sad situation and very unprofessional to see that a head teacher would, resort in doing such a thing to a fellow, worker, a colleague at work. And then the sad part is the most unfortunate part is that, me, I'm connected to the president.
I know this person, I know that person. And really? I think the president has said time and again saying you're on your own. If you end up doing things that are wrong, you're on your own.
Exactly, because there's no way every time you'd want to say, no, because I'm connected to the minister, so I have immunity, I can do anything I want. No. If you're found doing an illegal act, definitely should be aware that, you know, the law will catch up with you. You are on your own. Yeah. But it's sad, you know, it's sad that it's sad and funny at the same time. But why would you even resort in doing such thing? It's like, you know, you are a young child, you know, Zippo, fighting with your fellow student at school.
And then you decide to whip that person, as if maybe if it was a pupil and, you know, a teacher, people would have been like, okay, they would have understood, although like corporal punishment is not allowed. But a teacher and an acting deputy, it means you view others as children.
And you know, one thing from what I got on when he was explaining is that, you know, the attention started a long time ago, because it's not the first time.
So you just said one day I'm going to whip this one.
I'm going to,
and the day came.
As that you wanna, and I think that was the day. It was like, you know what? I'm going to use this opportunity to hit this guy. But that shouldn't be the case. No, it shouldn't. Anyway, moving forward, we did see a story again on Saturday done by Nelson Zulu, I beg your pardon, one of our reporter, where he did a story in Lusaka's Mandevu compound, where the residents continued bemoaning the lack of a mortuary at Chipata Level 1 Hospital. Anyway, let's get direct into playing that story.
For 3 years now, Chipata Level 1 Hospital in Lusaka's Mandevu constituency has been operating without a mortuary, much to the disappointment of the locals. The hospital services over 65,000 residents drawn from 7 wards within the constituency. The residents have continued complaining that the non-availability of a mortuary at the only constituency's hospital has forced them to paying over 650 kwacha in order to ferry their deceased beloveds from the first level hospital to the University Teaching Hospital, UTH. They are appealing to the area member of parliament, Christopher Shakafuswa, to urgently address their plight.
Challenge ametinayo mochari tikafelewa isikudu tingana challenge ine yangu muntu afa mochari isati hospital afa isati wamfake mochari muja tuedo bukinga futi motoka yompeleka ku mochari so tipapata atione atianga neko pachaya patani ba mochari
Mochari vetire faika ni mochari ngefine mama afya chafuma ngulanda mochari baturo kije pali mochari elo tu amarodi mno malipore yali shari sana tufano beshe.
Now up to Kenga in terms of not having a mortuary in this area.
2 years now, almost 2 years.
Meanwhile, Mandevu Member of Parliament Christopher Shakafuswa assures that funds have been set aside for the construction of the mortuary near the first level hospital.
Place that we intended to buy, it's like the owners are having family problems which they cannot resolve, and so that has delayed us. My appeal is to those neighbors that are neighbors to the Chipata Level 1 Hospital, especially on the northern side. If any one of them is able to offer us their property, which is just nearer to the hospital, we are willing as government, as a constituency, to purchase the land so that we put up a mortuary for the people of Mandevu. I think that is where we are. For me, it's just to appeal to the people who are neighboring the hospital to come to our aid by offering us land where we can put up this development, which is intended to, service the people.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News in Lusaka.
Quite interesting there. Anyway, we hope that the residents of Mandevu will be able, to ensure that a mortuary is put up at Chipata Level 1 Hospital. It's quite sad that a lot of people, despite losing their loved ones, they find it a challenge, in terms of having a mortuary there at the hospital. Very, very quite sad situation. But anyway, we are glad that the area member of parliament in that constituency, which is Mandevu, Christopher Shakafusa, has assured the resident of ensuring that the mortuary will be put up very soon. Some funds have been set aside to ensure that the construction of a mortuary commences. But anyway, moving forward, we have another story that one of our colleagues, one of our reporters, did. She was on the ground where some fuel tanker drivers were protesting over the issue of salaries. Others were complaining that, what they get, their salaries are too low. They get as little as 1,300 kwacha, and these are drivers truck drivers, you need to ensure that they risk their lives going all the way, carrying the fuel and all the stuff, and then they are getting 1,300 kwacha. That was the concern. But anyway, we hope that their issue will be addressed very soon, and relevant authorities will come on board to ensure that a lasting solution is found, and there's both a win-win from them and their employers as well. But anyway, let's get direct into playing that story.
That's why we don't want any tank to move. Empty, loaded must park until further notice.
These are representatives of fuel tanker drivers across Zambia who have convened outside one of the oil marketing companies along Mungi Road in Lusaka to air their grievances through the media. Among the challenges they are citing is poor pay from fuel transporting companies, lack of contracts, and infiltration of their business by non-Zambian nationals, leaving them to benefit very little. The drivers state that previous engagements with the Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Labour and Social Security, as well as Ministry of Transport and Logistics, have not yielded results, hence the decision to call for a countrywide strike.
And we have got transporters who are lowest pay than the minimum wage which the government have put. They're not even paying. Like Khalif is the example, 1,200. And he's busy here coming with the police escorting trucks to go. You have seen already, you have seen it by yourself.
And the commissioner is there.
And the Labour Commission, what is doing? What's the Labour Commission doing?
They've given us 75%. That 75% we're not seeing it. It's just on paper. When you go on the ground, just the practical thing, you find maybe it's just 15% that we are feeding. No Zambian transporter, no indigenous Zambian transporter is carrying fuel from outside. We've got a lot of investors who have invested in Zambia, but they are able to get orders, maybe from abroad or from anywhere where they're getting orders. But there is no Zambian transporter who can manage that thing. As you may be aware, a lot of Zambians have got 2 trucks, 3 trucks. And they are not being subcontracted with these big OMCs. But President Berami Bepa, kuli ba energy minister, or ba transport minister, or ba labor minister, as you are not politicians, as you are drivers. If offer to ready dafe kuli mo ba HH, nga mwayumfo problem tukwete. Mutu afuirishe ko tuwapapata tulipamakasa yeno.
They have vowed not to operate the fuel tankers until their concerns are heard.
Tivutika already tina makampani abiri yamene ya tivutiza maningi. Kalahari Swift and the drivers almost 50 Zambian citizen. Kalahari and the over 50 Zambian citizen. Kalahari anacho some drivers once without even paying any single money. Swift cargo, Swift anatenga ma drivers kutenga mamotokazi kupasa ma foreigners ma Tanzanian ma trucks kupoka ma Zambian citizen without paying anything. Now yaja mamotoka tinayagwira no yakupeleka ku Ratsa yanapezeka mamotoka yamaenda 1 year yalibe misongo ili yonse ya boma road carriers license ya mafuta zilibe, ma fitness kulibe, identity kulibe, ma insurance kulibe. But ya mamotoka isetizi bachaja mamotoka are impounded. After some days mamotoka yanapezeka banayasta release pa court order from Copper Belt court order. Banayasta release ya mamotoka yanaenda.
By broadcast time, Minister of Energy Peter Kapala was unreachable via mobile phone, but Camnet TV will continue to follow the story as it develops. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Just a reminder to our viewers that we have now officially opened our phone lines. You can call us in to participate on our topic of discussion this morning, where we are looking at illegal structures in markets, as well as your comment on some of the stories that we played. As Zipporah, you were on the ground yesterday, you did the story. How is the situation like? I hear they are planning to do a protest again today.
Well, definitely. So that was actually day 2, according to them, like, but they officially announced yesterday. But a big on Saturday, you know, in the background, but then yesterday the official announced saying, you know, they're not going to transport any fuel. So actually they're just continuing, you know, that protest until they have the concerns heard. And Miriam, so this may create a crisis in the country whereby we don't have fuel.
Enough fuel.
There may be artificial fuel shortages. And you find that, you know, if everything that has to do with the economy depends on fuel. You talk about transporting goods.
Yes.
Everything depends on fuel. So otherwise we may affect our economy negatively.
And I hope that, you know, the relevant authority will come on board and ensure that this issue is addressed adequately. It's quite sad that a lot of people have continued complaining against the Labour Commission office. Just like I have heard in the clip, they were calling on where is the Labour Commission, what are they doing? You know, we reported this issue to them, what are they doing? So I hope that at the end of the day, you know, these relevant institutions that are given a mandate to help and speak on behalf of the workers would be able, you know, to find a lasting solution and resolve this issue. I really don't want to see a situation because we're already being affected. You know, already the prices of commodities are up, Zipporah, the dollar, the what, and then now us having a crisis of fuel.
Imagine, so yesterday, you know, they're emphasizing, they're like, no, what, we're just politicians, we don't belong to this party or that party, because they're like, no, like some people always say, no, we belong maybe to the former ruling party, but let no one deceive you. We're drivers, and what we're asking for really is, you know, fair prices, fair salaries. So they're saying, for example, you know, they carry fuel worth millions of kwacha, and yet someone is getting 1,200. So apart from that, they're also saying that this is why, you know, that pilferage of fuel is not ending, siphoning of fuel is not ending. So I'm sure you've seen those clips on social media where, you know, that some people, you know, getting fuel before it reaches its destination. So they're saying that is what is causing that. We do have a caller actually, Miriam. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. We seem to have lost that caller, but remember to do call us back and participate in the topic where our phone lines are officially open. We're discussing trending issues, and at 8 hours we're going to discuss land wrangles in markets.
Exactly, Zipporah. But I just feel sorry for the tanker drivers.
I didn't even know they get that much. Me, of course I thought, you know, maybe they get 15,000 kwacha or something.
Yeah, but 1,300 kwacha.
200
kwacha.
And imagine you're going, you know, you take fuel to Congo, you do this and that.
Are they given, apart from the 1,200 kwacha that they get, are they given other allowances?
I really doubt. Anyway, I do not know, but from what they were saying, it's like that is what they get, and they were saying that it's not even like per month. The 1,200 is not even consistent. They go some months without pay, so they're saying they've had enough. They want, you know, fair prices, and now they want, you know, the head of state to address them. They're not going to drive any fuel tanker, whether empty or loaded. They want the president to address them. They're saying, you know, they've failed, you know, to have a resolution with the Ministry of Labor, the Ministry of Energy, as well as, you know, the Ministry of Transport and Logistics. So they're saying these have not been helpful. They're saying, you know, the head of state promised us many things when he came into office, and now we want those things fulfilled. So those are the cries, basically.
And one thing that also the Minister of Energy should have come on board to ensure that, okay, this deals with his sector, ensure that a lasting and permanent solution is found. It's quite sad that people have continued, Zipporah, because this protest is not the first time we're seeing such a protest in the country. It's not
from tanker drivers.
Yeah,
They've always not been happy with
exactly. But
in terms of service.
What is the lasting solution that we are going to give these people? This is something that we need to now focus on. You know, it's quite sad if we're going to say we are going to be solving issues in a bit. You know, you solve this part, you leave the other part, you solve this part. No, if you're going to solve something, make sure that you find a lasting solution for that thing, so that in the near future you don't have the similar situation. The drivers complaining about the salaries that they're getting. And anyway, I'm sure the other argument will be no, if you're not happy, just resign, leave this job. But we are talking about creating employment for other people. And this is where the Labour Commission should come in place and ensure that the terms and conditions for employees are adhered to. are those guidelines that have been set up by the government. Yeah, because a lot of employers are breaking these rules. They are not following the rules. Yeah.
Definitely. And yesterday we did see, Miriam, we saw the Petroleum Transporters Association of Zambia actually, responding on the spot. I think that was around 19 when I saw this. After, they heard the concerns of the tanker drivers. And, I was surprised, a spot response. And so we saw this from PTAS, that is the Petroleum Transporters Association of Zambia, who have, responded to the pleas of the drivers one by one. And so the response is, for example, on the issue of permanent contracts, because they were saying that they do not have permanent contracts. So they're saying transporters cannot sign permanent contracts in the subsector as they do not have permanent contracts with the suppliers of oil marketing companies. Most of the transport companies in the fuel transport subsector are operating on spot hire. So it would be suicidal for transporters to commit themselves to this. So they're saying, it's just maybe like for if there's a job to transport, then you transport.
Yeah,
nothing
you
like a job, from you sign a contract. So I don't know, but I think that's casualization. I don't know your take on that.
It is. It definitely is a part. You should have a contract or something. Yeah.
So those are the issues, and for the other issues, they're saying no foreigner should be given a permit to work as a truck driver. That was one of their demands, and the response to this is that issue can only be addressed by the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security. So I don't think we're going anywhere anyway, because I'm sure what the transporters were expecting is that saying, okay, we've heard this, we're going to do this, but then some of these responses, they're saying it's not us, it's the Ministry of Home Affairs, you can't have contracts, it's spot hire. So I don't know if we're going there right now. So today I would like to hear the response of the transporters to this.
So now this tells you that the meeting that these tanker drivers need to have, it needs to consist the Ministry of Energy, the Labour Commission, and the Ministry of Home Affairs.
And they need all the stakeholders,
yeah.
Yeah, and the other demand was no more intimidation and exploitation of tanker drivers. And the response to this is the drivers must be specific on this one and state the type of exploitation and intimidation they are facing.
Is it not? You are saying we won't even give you this job. We can give other people. I'm sure that is what they meant.
All tanker drivers who were fired at Kalahari to be reinstated. Failure to that, the transporting company must go back to Tanzania. And the response is, we believe this is a labor matter that must be addressed by relevant government institutions. So basically, I think, Miriam, today these are some of the highlights. Anyway, there are many demands, so these are just a few of the highlights. And I'm sure today, Miriam, would like to hear from the tanker drivers. Are they satisfied with their response from the Petroleum Transporters Association of Zambia? And it is actually based in Lola. Are they satisfied with their response? Are these the answers they were looking for? I think today we get to hear from that.
Basically, in my view, I think they should have sat down with the drivers and issuing that statement without sitting down with the drivers. Yeah, I think that statement was issued in a hasty manner. I think they should have sat down, listened to their concerns, tell them the things that they can address and other things, and they need to engage other stakeholders in order to address their issue, and then issue that statement. Yeah.
Quite interesting here, but Miriam, my main concern, of course, is the issue of fuel. If we do not have enough fuel in the country.
Basically, if the fuel tanker drivers are going to continue with their protest, basically we are going to have a shortage. We're going to see that. We're going to feel the impact.
And yesterday, there was, I don't know if I can say chaos, because what happened is that, as the tanker drivers were saying, we're not going to transport any fuel. Some fuel transporting companies, now, got police escorts to go and offload, at the oil marketing companies. So now it was that scenario whereby, the tanker driver, the fuel tanker comes, and the drivers, are trying to, stop it from entering the oil marketing company. So they had a police escort. So that was the chaos that was there yesterday.
Let's speak this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Madam Mushala.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm very sorry, I'm looking at the professor today. What's happening?
Sorry?
Mr. Patrick.
Oh, no. He's around. Can you tell us your name and where you're calling us from?
I guess you must be able to understand me that by the vote.
Please go ahead.
The voice of the Zaga that is on the line.
It's good to know that you're watching us. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Thank you so much. I just want to pick on that issue of that victim who was acted as something.
Please go ahead.
Much as we don't support that kind of unconstitutional behavior by the so-called professionals, but it must be acknowledged with high degree that mostly these words are always mere or naked accusation coming from the fearful sympathizers. This is the case in all areas where the cadres were taken. That is the strategy, the police services, the DESCO, everywhere. Sure.
Oh, please call us back. I think we have lost the caller there, Miriam. I don't know if you picked one or two things before you lost it.
But it seems like he was commenting on the story we earlier played of a teacher from
the corporal punishment.
Exactly, of a teacher who was assaulted by the acting deputy teacher. But I really wanted to get his part where he was mentioning that these are PF chaps. I really don't know how this comes in.
Who was the PF chap?
I don't know if he meant the head teacher or he meant the teacher. I really don't know. But regardless, Zipporah, this is a work of place. And we don't allow such unprofessionalism. Yeah.
Yeah, and Miriam, I think we should move away as a country from this issue of, when someone does something, then now you start putting a political party on them. We should just endeavor to be professional in all manners.
Exactly.
Regardless. So, people say, okay, this one, but anyway, we just hope that
I had to teach this guy a lesson because I was suspecting that he's PF. I had to teach this guy a lesson because he's UPND, thinks he's in the ruling, he can control everything. But when you come to a place of work, you need to
have a caller, Miriam.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're through to the
Good morning, please go ahead.
Because I'm talking with the justice for the class. These are the cases which want to hear Canada. I'm not believing that. That's not what I think is here. Canada protects them. These are the cases who are all others. Performance or something. This is your participation. I'm telling you what the people that for in this situation. For one example, go there is the important height. Where the headmaster is together supporter. Or the fewer students that are hopeful to get the delivery from the production that is food. And that don't be I don't get that.
The line seems to be breaking.
Yes, please call us back. The line is breaking, but I think he was just echoing his earlier point there in Miriam.
Anyway, Zipper, moving forward, we did see you play. You did a story in Kamwala. Maybe you can just give us the gist and details of what the story is about before we play it.
Yes, Miriam. Actually, the issues there began on Thursday, which is African Freedom Day. I think our colleague Prudence went there. Is it the previous day? Where the issues that are rising in Kamwala right now, the issues that are rising, and the issue which happened firstly on Thursday is that there's some land there, where the market traders are alleging that it has been sold to a Chinese investor, and so now they're going to be displaced. But apparently the Chinese investor says he'll build some shops which they can rent. So Miriam, again, this is a I don't know how I can describe it. It's a tricky situation because, first of all, they're saying, we've been here for years and years. But Miriam, being there for years does not mean that, you know what I mean? You need to get the title for that land.
Yeah.
You can stay in an area for years. But then secondly, there's this issue of the Chinese investor who, like when you look at the law, Zambians are supposed to be given priority. So I think there's a tricky situation there. But the thing is, he has the title deeds, they do not have the title deed, so what is a way forward on that situation? And secondly, on Friday, we went and saw another situation there, Miriam, where, there's that issue of the truck drivers, saying that they're now being forced to park on the road.
Let us get this call.
Oh, we do have a caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
You're through to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Who are we talking to this morning?
You're talking to Gideon Maluma.
It's good to know that you're watching us, sir. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, I just want to comment on the story which already ran for the fuel tanker drivers. Yes, what you saw yesterday is just a few of the things that we are going through. There are a lot of issues, especially with labor. So the people we really want to see to address our issues is three ministries. Minister of Labor, Minister of Transport, Home Affairs and Transport. So as soon as you can be addressed, there are a lot of issues we've been presenting to them, written through our people, but it's like everything just inside line. Then there's a lot of separation. Our wages is something that you can't even imagine. If you don't have a trip, you can't sustain yourself. Transporters have, some of these transporters coming out of the country have decided to be employing foreigners, getting our jobs. And you know, this sector is not a skilled labor sector, whereby you can have some expatriates or what. So want some questions, want some answers. Do they offer permits for those unskilled laborers like us drivers? We believe no. That's not the answer. When you go to labor, you present yourselves some issues, the things turn out to be opposite. The labor people are the ones reporting to your company. These people are a problem or something like that. You go for negotiations, the next thing you hear, you are seated in a disciplinary committee. Right now, as we are talking, we've got 24 drivers out of employment. When they went for negotiations, the company refused to do the negotiations. We invoked the labor until we reached an extent whereby we couldn't offer any labor to them until we had the negotiations. After negotiations, drivers were picked for them to be involved in labor-related matters. To belong to a union in Zambia now is becoming a problem. And by law, we know that that's our right. Those drivers, as we are talking right now, they've been laid off, they've been dismissed. 2 days ago, they were given final letters. We've got a transport house taking trucks into Tanzania to employ Tanzanians, driving in our soil. With our registered trucks, which are supposed to be employed, 45 drivers are out of employment. And if we tell you the months which they've been there have been paid, it's something that you think about twice. More than a year. They lay you off, they give someone a truck who's a foreigner. How do you feel? There's a lot of issues that you should present. We also talk about the allocation of this same fuel. Some of our transporters have opted going to Congo just for survival, when we have enough fuel to be brought in our country. There's a lot of fuel to be brought in our country. But foreigners are the ones busy bringing the fuel. It's been years engaging the ministries. Some reasons they give us, no, Zambian transporters are expensive. That's why these guys are opting to go that side. But what's the purpose of those ministries? The governments, the transport, finance, can they create an environment where the business becomes conducive for the transporters to be given contracts? Reduce the cost of doing business for local transporters. There are some relevant things which are being charged on them, which are not even being used. But every time the burden goes to a driver. And it's not a fraction of families we take care of. It's a lot. It's a lot of people we look after. Don't just look at us on the roads as drivers. We've got a lot of responsibility and a huge contribution to the economy of the country. Moreover, we're not even on the way to do of the government. We don't even give them a burden. They don't have to wake up and say, what are we going to pay the drivers? All we need are policies to support our jobs.
Thank you.
We are the people adding to the value of the economy. But why are we being treated like nobody?
Thank you
so those are the issues we want them to present to us, to tell us what's the way forward. If they want us to get passports to go and get citizenship to Zimbabwe, Tanzania, where they prefer people to work, we'll go. But they will choose with people to remain within Zambia.
Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. Thank you so much. It was quite elaborative, Zipporah, and he has. Well, I'm glad that we have a driver who has called us on this on our show this morning just to explain in detail some of the challenges.
And they're quite a lot. I think, like you mentioned earlier, where you said they need a meeting, with all the stakeholders.
Yes, they need a meeting because we have seen on several occasions the Ministry of Commerce saying they are creating an enabling environment, a conducive environment for people in Zambia, for Zambians to do to engage in business. But is this reflecting on the ground? So these are the concerns that we keep on seeing. And again, when you talk about policies, yes, we have seen them putting different policies, but are they being adhered to? So these are the things that we need to question, and basically there's need for that meeting as soon as possible.
Definitely, Miriam. I think now get ready to transition to our main topic, but of course the callers can still call in and contribute where we're discussing illegal structures in markets, and we're tying this to the rule of law. The president has been calling, for the restoration of the rule of law, but we're having a situation like, for example, at Kamwala market here in Lusaka, which is one of the biggest markets in Lusaka, where the land wrangles, and some people have actually built along the line of road. What can we do to end illegal structures in market? So that is our main topic for 8 hours, and just now take a look at that story.
These are over 300 traders at Lubamba section of Lusaka's Kamwala market behind Big Mose shops who have been affected by a notice given to them that they should vacate their trading spaces because the Chinese national has produced a title to the land they have occupied for years.
Kuchani kufesi yabandani ba MP nondo tipoka mafoni once private meeting batenga mafoni noenda kuja nondo chitasani nambo chita bakomana gate nambo chita convince kuti imwe muri na option yabiri mfunika msankepo tikushene compensate olo mchinese akumangire ni parodi shop ma shops mavera maye parodi akatimangira mchinese esa tipira kukansa manje outcome ngati outcome Chinese abwera ankari kuma shop petiri lero manje so atimangire parodi masaza bwa kutichosa mapepa azitiri na hivi
tabe mwanyaliri bakatimangire parodi hapa bakaendomanga pa parodi tizambolipira zingati 2 pini per month and then tizongala tuma 1 meter if still muni tuma 1 meter bani chimozi mazati batigulisa era wanyeti ambolipira kuli muntu 2 pini era mashopu ni yatu ukanso tilipira every month 125 every Friday tilipira 5 kwacha.
The traders now seek the intervention of the head of state, President Hakainde Hichilema, who they have called upon to revoke the said license by the Chinese national, which they say was dubiously acquired with the help of some PF officials from the Ministry of Land, and have also claimed that they have the trading rights to the said land.
Bakuti muntu umozi aina ma properties kwa tikarangana mukaenda ku intercity konse kuja maroji yonse antikarangana yaja upeza ni yamu yaure ni muntu umozi isa tomato mashop wanatipasako na ise ndi empowerment yatu sema youth ndava otherwise sema youth kubetiri benchito sevenza sendeshi watu wameneye
na market yesu kwa tupengela then I market toka ula kwa enda jindi amapepa ngaya tulijisatu iminina inoyo mchawinizi nguba uliha tongo kubala tuimbira tongo kubamba nyimbo himbi so tulomba ndunya ba president kuti mwimandu swe pali migwahi amulange mashopu manji maningi ali 105 silinga vomele pakati parodi because nikarangana street inazula kudala banipisha bamene nankala nafika ine ninafika ne Mzambia ne citizen banipisha ba place ya mene nilili bapoleka ba mchinese nienda kuti ba president tilila.
Meanwhile, Area Councillor Mainda Smata, when contacted, told this reporter that the matter is above his office and that the named Chinese national indeed has title to the said land, and has advised those affected traders to consider engaging the Ministry of Land and the President, who has the power to revoke a title.
For them to say if you want such property and the right people, there is no way he's going to have it. However, subsequently, that Chinese produced a document now, a land title. And when you know somebody when they've got a title, that means they've got the rights and ownership to that place. And what they wanted to do was to enforce that ownership of the title by bringing in Belik. And it was proposed by the same Chinese to say that he didn't want to remove those people from there, but he was going to provide the alternative shops. He was going to build makeshift shops for them behind the shop that he was going to build.
These 106 shops have since been earmarked for demolition, while over 300 traders may lose their trading spaces if the said foreign national with a title to the said land moves in and demolishes their shops as per notice that has been given to them. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The fight for trading space in Lusaka Central Business District has long been existing, which has seen some traders at Lusaka's Kamala Market selling right next to the railway line, endangering both themselves and their young children, whom they often leave sleeping near their goods as they go about their business of selling. These, along with those that have erected mobile money booths along the line of rail, and others who are now putting up permanent structures using concrete near the rail line, have been seen as a nuisance by the shop owners here, as they state that these are constructed right in front of their shops, hence making business slow. Friday morning, a riot almost ensued at Kamala's trading area after some truck drivers felt that they had had enough, as they are now being forced to park their trucks on the road reserve as opposed to behind the railway due to this activity, which is the space they claim they were given as parking space by the Zambia Railway Authority. Another concern raised is that the illegal squatters do not have toilets or other facilities such as bins, leading to them relieving themselves outside the police container, as well as disposing of their waste at the same place.
We are complaining to the MP, whoever is responsible, to come and help us so that they don't put up structures here. Because if they put up structures here, where are we going to go? Because we are also people. We are also people, residents of this nation. We also voted, okay? So we also need to feed our families. And then there are a lot of inconveniencing through the cadres that are coming from, I don't know, whichever offices. They are not coming on the ground to consult us, to tell us what they are going to do here. We are just coming out in the morning, we find the structures have been put.
Nomba ifwe nchitwaiti bomba tulasela tatwaikalira pamopene ngefi twamba okumwana babalesa balekula oku kozi mumbali yanjanji bato bati takwabe ekikulu aichingekala mumbali yanjanji nomba ifwe tulabomba nokufuma po twafumapo nopo twiminina nopo treni ipitira patali sana twalikwata po problemu yakwatirimbi bapunka omuntu mulandi upantu tulapakinga po amatrakita kwabo nomba ekyala tudabwisha ifwe tulefwa twishi babalekula ifi tulemona kulya kunuma kulya bushe ni bakanso ni balwelwe nangu ni banani.
The aggrieved parties are now calling for the Zambia Railway Authority and the Lusaka City Council to swiftly move in and restore order, failure to which they say they will take matters into their own hands and demolish the booths and the structures built along the line of rail. Meanwhile, Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Simata says he has engaged the Department of City Planning at the Lusaka City Council several times, but no action has been taken.
Yeah, I'm very much aware about all those issues. And the way we deal with such issues is that we forward them to the rightful council department to deal with them. In this case, it is city planning. So the issue that we have with city planning is that when we make resolutions as councillors, or we give them directives or complaints forwarded by various stakeholders, they do not act on them. So for me, it's the fault of the council. That is illegal. If they are using bricks, that is illegal. You don't build the permanent structure 50 meters within the rail line. It's illegal. It's against the law.
The trading community has also called for the construction of good roads and drainages, stating that the place becomes inaccessible during the rain season. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ have come. You lift one hand and I'll lift the other hand, because our man of God in a surrendered position is more dangerous than an entire army. In the name of the Lord Jesus, today God will remove every form of iniquity, every ounce of iniquity that has been around you. Then I said, behold, I have come to do your will, O God, to fulfill what is written of me. So that I can understand that when Mary is in that crowd, part of her is crying for them to choose Jesus over Barabbas. But she doesn't understand the mystery of redemption. That Jesus did not come to the world to die a normal death, because a normal death does not do anything for you and I. Your great and mighty power, the heavens declare. Your great and mighty power, you're greater than the greatest, you're mightier than the mightiest, you're stronger than the strongest, better than the best.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
The fight for trading space in Lusaka Central Business District has long been existing, which has seen some traders at Lusaka's Kamala Market selling right next to the railway line, endangering both themselves and their young children, whom they often leave sleeping near their goods as they go about their business of selling. These, along with those that have erected mobile money booths along the line of rail, and others who are now putting up permanent structures using concrete near the rail line, have been seen as a nuisance by the shop owners here, as they state that these are constructed right in front of their shops, hence making business slow. Friday morning, a riot almost ensued at Kamala's trading area after some truck drivers felt that they had had enough, as they are now being forced to park their trucks on the road reserve as opposed to behind the railway due to this activity, which is the space they claim they were given as parking space by the Zambia Railway Authority. Another concern raised is that the illegal squatters do not have toilets or other facilities such as bins, leading to them relieving themselves outside the police container, as well as disposing of their waste at the same place.
We are complaining to the MP, whoever is responsible, to come and help us so that they don't put up structures here. Because if they put up structures here, where are we going to go? Because we are also people. We are also people, residents of this nation. We also voted, okay? Yes. So we also need to feed our families. And then there are a lot of inconveniencing through the cadres that are coming from, I don't know, whichever offices. They are not coming on the ground to consult us, to tell us what they are going to do here. We are just coming out in the morning, we find the structures have been put.
Nomba ifwe nchitwa itibomba tulasela tatwaikalira pamopene ngefi twamba okumwana babalesa balekulo ku kozi mumbali yanjanji batu bati takwabe ekikulu aichingekala mumbali yanjanji nomba ifwe tulabomba nokufuma po twafumapo nopo twiminina nopo treni ipitira patali sana twalikwata po problem yakwatirimbi bapunko omuntu mulandu pantu tulapakinga po amatrakta kwabo nombekyala tudabwisha ifwe tulefwa tuishi babalekula ifitulemona kulya kunuma kulya bushe ni bakanso ni balwelwe nangu ni banani.
The aggrieved parties are now calling for the Zambia Railway Authority and the Lusaka City Council to swiftly move in and restore order, failure to which they say they will take matters into their own hands and demolish the booths and the structures built along the line of rail. Meanwhile, Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Simata says he has engaged the Department of City Planning at the Lusaka City Council several times, but no action has been taken.
Yeah, I'm very much aware about all those issues. And the way we deal with such issues is that we forward them to the rightful council department to deal with them. In this case, it is city planning. So the issue that we have with city planning is that when we make resolutions as councillors, or we give them directives or complaints forwarded by various stakeholders, they do not act on them. So for me, it's the fault of the council. That is illegal. If they are using bricks, that is illegal. You don't build the permanent structure 50 meters within the rail line. It's illegal. It's against the law.
The trading community has also called for the construction of good roads and drainages, stating that the place becomes inaccessible during the rain season. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
We have been joined in studio by Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Simata, who is helping us discuss the issue of illegal structures in marketplaces. Good morning and welcome to the program this morning.
Morning, Miriam. Thank you for inviting me on the show, and good morning to our viewers.
We are glad to have you on set.
Thank you.
How is, first of all, how is Kamwala Ward 5 doing?
Oh, Kamwala always has its issues. There are issues every other week, so today is a Monday morning and there are issues to be sorted out. But that's what we are there for, civic leaders.
Just looking at the story that we earlier played, I understand that Kamwala, the one along the rail line, is part of your ward. What is the issue mainly there?
All right. Yes, Kamwala is very vast. It's a very vast ward. It's one of the biggest wards actually in Osaka, and the population that it has can be equated to some constituencies. So it's not an easy word to manage. The issue that you have just played, the clip that you have just played concerning illegal construction of makeshift structures is really a concern that's been there for a very long time. When I came in, I found a lot of structures actually. Even today as you speak, there are makeshift structures that are still standing against council resolution, against the existing laws. Those structures are still existing. And unfortunately, that kind of construction has continued even today, despite my best efforts to actually stop those kinds of constructions, because you understand, say that they start to encroach on already existing roads where delivery trucks are supposed to be passing. They become dens of crime, they become health hazards, others begin to use them as toilets. So there are all those issues. And I've written, I think several times, I've written officially to the council to have those unsanitary and disused booths to be removed. I've also said even the construction of makeshift structures must be stopped, because as a civic leader, my job ends where I say, this is what is wrong. Can the council act on it? But you find that there are even booths, not the ones which we are showing. There are some makeshift structures which have been built on a wall of a shop. Someone's shop. They go and build makeshift structures there. Those were built, those I found them. And some Zambians of Indian origin complained to say, look, Wakansa, these makeshift structures are a hazard to us, because we don't know at night if maybe somebody will just close themselves in there, then they'll start drilling holes into our shop and get away with it. Those things have been reported, but have they been acted upon? Up to now, they have not been acted upon. And that's why I say there's a big failure on the part of the council itself. You know, some people when you say council, but are you not a council? Yes, I'm.
Is it the Department of City Planning?
Yes, the Department of City Planning itself, and the Department of Administration. These are the ones. The Administration Department. This is where you have the so-called council police. That's where they operate from. So complaints have been made both by the people. Those complaints which you have heard. Even myself, I've officially written to the town clerk to have those things demolished. And there was even a notice which they issued, I think some three months ago, a city planning notice. It was issued, and they even shared it with some of the concerned people that are complaining about those makeshift structures. Some of them are traders, they own big shops there. And I shared with them, say, this is a response from the city planning department. They have given these people 30 days notice to avail themselves with the correct papers which they have for them to be there. But they have not done that. So for me, the biggest failure is the institution itself which is supposed to enforce. As a policymaker, as a civic leader, I make the policies, I represent the people, but I'm not responsible. I cannot go there on the ground and say, or I stand guard for 24 hours watching who's waiting. It's not possible. I depend on set institutions and departments to enforce the complaints of the people. As I speak to you, there's even another issue in Kamwala, New Kamwala, where a wall fence construction that had stopped for 3 months. Today it is complete. I go there and say, but who gave you permission for you to complete? You say, no, the council. Which council? Show me the papers. They gave me a paper. Sure enough, it was authorized by city planning. I took it on Friday to the director of city planning and said, who approved this? She does not know. She called in the building inspector. Building inspector, who approved the completion of this office? No, it is not my signature. Whose signature is it? Nobody knows. So in such an environment where people are throwing the ball on each other, nobody is responsible for wrong things that are being done, it's very, very difficult to stop such things from happening.
But what could the problem be, really? Is it like maybe there's some people who are choosing to, abrogate the law under the new administration, or what could the real problem be? Like, how can there be a permanent solution to the problem?
Like I've said, the real problem is either a collusion between certain officers within the council and the perpetrators of these wrongs. They work together, these people build. When they build those things, the people that are supposed to stop them turn a blind eye. Before you know it, makeshift structures are complete. Before you know it, complaints starts coming. Others even say, no, I think in the vacancy it's not me. It's not even people that I know, But the accusation will come. People expect me. Yes, Vanadiamo, Wamanga. It's not me.
That was the case in Kamwala, Ward 5. No, I don't know. The councillor is the one approving for these people to build that night and all that.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Because when such things are happening, I rely also on information that comes from the market master. Every market has got a market master. It's got council police. Those are the people I rely on to inform me of what is happening. And of course, even the traders in there who have got concerns, I rely on information and complaints from them like that. But when I engage the necessary departments at the Lusaka City Council to say, can you move in and demolish? Nobody is willing to demolish. You know about the story of those houses along the road and in Kamwala and Libana. They are still standing today. Wasn't there a court order by the Court of Habitation given to the City Council to demolish? It was given. Up to date, they have never demolished. So you see, there is this inertia or unwillingness for the council to even enforce laws which are clearly given to them. Say, here is the law. These houses were built on the wrong place. Can you go ahead and demolish? So I don't know where we are going if such things will continue to happen.
What's the danger are we likely to face if such things continue happening, despite certain laws being put in place, and then people are not adhering to those laws?
It creates an atmosphere of disorderliness, because if you see those makeshifts, and the reason why you've seen those makeshifts being built there, because the people have got, when you allow one wrong to be done, you open the door even for a second and a third wrong to be done. On that stretch itself, they are makeshift shops. If you went there, probably if you started from the beginning where the roll line starts, they are makeshift shops. They've been standing there for 2-3 years. So the idea is, since those are built, even as we can build, when people come to demolish, they'll say, okay, but you see that kind of arrangement. Even on the flyover bridge, you've seen over the flyover bridge that Cafe roundabout or the flyover bridge. There are a lot of makeshift shops there, and at the end of the day, it's the people themselves. The people who say, "Manje cancel mukatupanyira, tijese rapo bani, tizaenda kuti." So there are all those social considerations which come in. So that's why the best time to stop those things is when they are being constructed. But I don't even know what time they are constructed. You pass there after a week, you find they are finished. You pass there, you find there is a frame. The next day, it is finished. So for me, the understanding is that the same people in the markets, they know who is doing that, and I want to appeal to them. If they know who's doing that, report those people to the police or report them to the council, so that the council can move in. We can show them, say, here are the culprits. Can you act on them? Otherwise, if people continue to complain and behave like the council, whereby when you take a paper that belongs to them and they say, we don't know who signed it, then we are not going anywhere.
Don't you think this is a wake-up call to show that there's need to build more markets in the country, because a lot of people are abrogating these laws and building up these illegal structures because of lack of markets?
You know, the problem is not just about a lack of markets. Today, if I tell you to say, let's go into Soweto market, you're going to find vacant stands. Vacant. If I tell you, let's go to Old Soweto BH market, you're going to find vacant stands. There is also a resistance on the part of traders or vendors to go in trade from these markets because one, they are running away from levy. Two, they want to be closer to the market where you knock off when you just pass, you come out of the office on the that's where they want, because they know that's where they'll easily sell. So it's about being close to the market. Those markets, the ones that are built in the most of them they're empty. They're only maybe about 50% full. I think the mayor even gave a statement last Thursday about markets. Most of the market capacity, there are about 5,000 stands vacant at the moment. So it's not really about a lack of capacity. No, the capacity is there. You even have Simon market which will be launched. I don't know when. There's still some other things that need to be done for it to be launched. It's there. So even that one is going to absorb more people. But of course, if you look like markets like Lubama, it's very full. Very full. There's no even where you can say, let's start expanding the market. It's very full to the capacity, and that's why you find people engaging in such illegal activities of building makeshift shops, because they know the moment it is complete, people straight jump in and they want to rent because it's in an area that has got a lot of people coming in and coming out of the area.
Don't you think now you need to strategize as council of starting to charge those people who want to trade outside the marketplaces more fees than those who trade in the market to avoid such situations?
Ma'am, we do have a caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Victoria.
Good morning to you. We are through to the Camnet Breakfast Show. Can you tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and your contribution?
Okay, I'm Joseph Kunda. Thank you very much. Good morning, Victoria, and good morning, Miriam.
Good morning,
I
Mr.
wanted to take this opportunity first to commend Councillor Sumata. He's a very pragmatic leader. I've been following him so much. He's very hardworking, and he's the man of the people, and I think he will go very far. He knows what he's doing. It's unfortunate. Even the advice that he has rendered on this matter, even before you featured him this morning, it was very, very accurate and on point. The big problem is with the ministry itself. It's also with the local government as well. Honorable Gary Kongo must be involved in this matter. I think he's overwhelmed with this ministry. He has a lot to do. There are a lot of issues that are hanging that he needs to attend to under local government. I think the ministry is just too much vast for him. No wonder we had a previous ministry of chiefs and other affairs. Because he has to deal with the CDF issues, and this is a very gigantic and mammoth task that the government is shouldering. I really feel for him. He's not a person who can fail to run this ministry, but I think he's just overwhelmed. And then at the Ministry of Land, we have a big problem. You know, we can't have this kind of a situation where people are given shops and then still Chinese are able to produce evidence that they legally own the land and all that. This confusion it is caused by the people at the ministry. We have a case that we are representing as an organization that is before court. I can't go into particular details, but the ministry issued 2 title deeds to different people. They give legal papers to a number of people in Kamwala South. Again, they issue the same paper to another person at different dates. But unfortunately, the earlier person that they had issued the papers to, at the time when they issued those papers, that land was not gazetted to be a land that needed to be given to the people. At that time, actually, it was not even a land available for occupation. So we have such situation. And when the matter went to court, this person who illegally got the land was considered to be the legitimate owner of the land. So the advice that the area councillor is giving problem is with the ministry, as the Ministry of Land. It's the same thing with the Ministry of Energy. Honorable Kapala has a lot of work to do because according to our regulation, ERB knows this. The transporters are supposed to be separate from the suppliers of fuel. But you know, we have this situation where Mount Meru, who are supplying fuel, at the same time, they are the same distributors. Now they hide, you know. They give the transporters trucks, their own trucks. Instead of painting them in their usual color, they allow private individuals to be driving those trucks, and yet they are the legitimate owners of those trucks. You know, it's the same thing with Dangote cement. Dangote is not supposed to be transporting cement or other products. They are supposed to be simply manufacturers or producers of cement. That's all. But we have this problem where the same suppliers again are transporting, but they disguise themselves and give the transporter vehicles to other private individuals and use fake names. This thing is going on. So we expect the new Dawn administration to bring normality and sanity in all these areas. Otherwise, it's very terrible. We are sitting on a time bomb. In many filling stations, there is no fuel. You go to this filling station, there is no fuel. You try to go to another one. Just 2 days ago, I jumped on a Yango taxi, and we had to go to a filling station. We were told there was no filling station, there was no fuel. Again, we went to another one, there was no fuel. We ended up on the road without fuel, and we were stranded. So we are having such a situation.
Mr. Kunda, thank you so much for your contribution. I have to cut you now. He has quite exhausted his points, and earlier on the fuel, he was giving his comment. We did play a story where some fuel tanker drivers were protesting against. But anyway, away from that, maybe your comment on his earlier remarks. Do you think also the Ministry of Lands, the local government, has so much to do when it comes to these issues?
Yes, indeed. I'm sure you know of the situation in Kamwala again. There is another issue to do with land that was given title. The title was given to a Chinese, and the marketeers and the traders that occupy that space have not taken that too well. And as of course their area councillor, I'm equally concerned, because at the end of the day, those people that are in that particular space have been there for a very long time. But to wake up one morning and find that somebody has got a title that was issued by the Ministry of Lands, and they even have a court order from the High Court. I'm told that case was contested, but the same person, the Chinese national, was given a title. He was given, he won the court case, and the title itself was given in 2014. So these are difficult things that we have to sort out as leaders that are present. Of course, you can't say and run away from a problem and say, no, I wasn't there at the time it was given title. I mean, you have to confront the situation, and that's what I've tried to do about that situation, and it has been very difficult to deal with, because initially when that problem was brought to me to say there is this Chinese national who wants to evict us as marketeers from our makeshift stores, I plainly put the stop to it, and I even told the town clerk, say, look, if there is a construction of shops which is going to take place there at the expense of displacing Zambian traders, I'm not going to support it. That was at a time that I hadn't seen the documentation which that person had, and I hadn't even met him. I think I'm sure over some 2 months passed. And then some 2 weeks ago, the lawyers for the same Chinese national emerged and said, Councillor, you are opposing us, you're stopping us from going on with this construction. What is the problem? Because we have the documentation. I said, can I see the documentation? I saw the documentation myself. I even presented the same documentation to the MP to say, look, we have a problem here. Here's a Chinese national who says they have the correct documentation. This is a title. It's original. It's from land. It was given in 2014, and they have a court order. And you know, when somebody has a court order, it's like somebody, like a police person comes to your home. At first, they come without papers and say, I want to search your house. You tell them, where is the search warrant? They don't have a search warrant. They go back. Then they come back with a search warrant and say, I have a search warrant now. I want to search your house. Are you going to stop them?
No, you can't.
That is the situation where we are. This person has presented a title and a court order. So it's been very difficult for us to say don't go ahead, because the next thing that you're going to see is that myself or anybody else who tries to stop them will be cited for contempt of court. Already you know to say I've got a case with Given Gwinda over a land issue in Kamwala. I go to court alone with my lawyer. I spend on that case alone. The people that I'm fighting for are very quiet. At the end of the day, when we win that case, they will celebrate. So I'm not ready to get into another court case because of infringing on somebody's rights who's got a title from the Ministry of Land. And that's why the initial approach which I took was, okay, you have a title, you have a court order. Is there a way that we can try and help and accommodate these people? And we reached what I still think is an amicable solution. Because that person said, look, when I build my building, behind that building, I'll build about 50 makeshift shops. And there are only about 42 affected marketeers. They can come and occupy. If there are those that do not want to continue trading, they want some sort of compensation for their makeshift shops, so they want to go and build elsewhere, I'm ready to offer them a compensation. And I said, I even engaged the MP to say, this is the offer that this person is putting across the table for our people. We called them for a meeting at the MP's office, and they agreed. A week later, I don't know who influenced them or misled them. They said, no, we don't want to move. So at this point, as an area councillor, my hands are tied, because that person has got a title, he's got a court order, and just put an offer on the table, of which they have, some marketeers have said they can't go ahead of it. And I advise them, say, okay, you're at liberty. If you don't want to go ahead and accede or get this offer which this person is putting on the table, you're saying you're there earlier, you've got rights to be there, I agree with you. But at this point, it will leave the council, it will leave my office, because I'm only at the local authority. The paper that that person has is from Ministry of Lands. Then try and engage Ministry of Lands. Because in this country, there's only one person who's got the authority to overturn the title, and that is the president. So I told them clearly to say that if you want this title to be overturned, engage the MP will make representations for your lands, and bring the matter even before the president to overturn a title. But overturning a title is not that easy, because at the end of the day, even the head of state has to respect the existing laws. And you know, government is a government of continuity. You don't just come in and overturn everything that was done. You'd have total chaos. So some things have to be managed. So those are the options which are there before the traders. And we don't know where we are going. If the traders decide to say they don't want to move, then we are going to have a situation of that person perhaps trying to enforce his rights through bailiffs. And that's the last thing that we don't want, because when bailiffs come, they don't knock, they don't give you notice. They will just come one day and you just see a grader moving in. And we don't want that kind of situation. So we are still trying to manage the situation and hoping for a better resolution of the matter.
Quite a tricky situation there. Anyway, we do hope for the best. But anyway, we do have a comment from one of our viewers here on Facebook, who says, why has lawlessness continued even under UPND? So that is the question from our viewer. That is the perception they have. So has lawlessness continued even under UPND?
I think when they say lawlessness, they have to be very particular, because lawlessness exists in a lot of forms. Gatherism itself is lawlessness, you know, crime, petty crimes.
I think maybe.
So I'm sure he's referring to the issue of land.
Of land, yes.
Yes.
Oh.
So he's referring to the issue of land. So when they say why has lawlessness continued under UPND and referring to the land issue, what is important is that we must pick the date. What was the date? Well, this title, when was it dated? It's dated 2014. Okay? Meaning the lawlessness occurred in 2014. Okay? So it is not quite correct to say lawlessness has continued. Because at lands, if you go at lands today, that ministry is trying to reform for the best. You heard the Eda caller who said there are people that are being given 2 titles. And there are a lot of these issues. It's not just him. There are a lot of people with properties which are contested because of 2 titles being found for the same house, or 3 titles. All those kind of things, they exist. But our role as a new government is to try and manage the wrong things that we have done and resolve them in an amicable way. You know the area, I referred to earlier to the issue of the houses in Ibala and Kamwala along the line of rail. That is lawlessness. A pure example of lawlessness which is referring to. When did that occur? It occurred before we came in as the new dot. But we have to resolve the issues that we found, like I've said. Government is a government of continuity, and one party goes, one party comes in. The party that comes in cannot wash his hands out of the problem and say, I'm a problem here and no, we have to find ways of managing it. But we are trying our level best, at least speaking for the council to which I belong, we are trying our level best to bring the situation under control, so that some of these things like illegal building of shops or makeshift shops, building where you're not supposed to build, building wall fences and closing roads and building houses. You know, we've got houses that are literally built in the middle of the road, in Camnet. Somebody just closes, yes, on top of the drainage, somebody builds a house, they close the road, they build a house. You just can't move in and say, let's demolish the house, because you have to follow a process. And the laws in this country are very, very protective of house owners. I don't know, we fear house owners so much. Just to demolish a house, it's not an easy thing. But we are trying our level best to ensure that we control the situation. And I don't think the issues of double selling of titles and building where you're not supposed to build are so much rampant. They are there, but they're not so much rampant because of our stance against those issues.
And another concern I think which has come out from the same Kamala trading areas is it encroachment on the Bombay drainage. We've seen some mobile money booths also, like being constructed right on top of the Bombay drainage. That's one thing that we witnessed.
Not actually booths, makeshift shops.
Yes,
makeshift shops are actually built on top of the Bombay drainage. But of course, if you ask the engineers at Lusaka City Council, they will say, well, we allowed people to build makeshift because makeshift we can always remove.
But I'm using blocks, like we saw on Friday.
Yeah, that's another thing. That is totally against the law. That is totally against the law, because from an engineering perspective, when you start using bricks and cement to build on top of a drainage, you're putting pressure on that infrastructure. You're putting pressure on that infrastructure. So that is not allowed. And today is Monday. I'll make the necessary follow-ups to go and see for myself who is actually building on those drainages with cement blocks. Makeshifts, they are there. It's allowed. Because if I say it's not allowed, I will lie. Because if you go there, you find makeshifts built. And that's the only thing that is allowable. Build a temporary structure. A booth is a temporary structure. You can place it there, because tomorrow, if you want to do developments, we'll move it out. And that is actually what is even in the so-called offer letters. The council give you temporary permits to occupy or put some structure at a place for 1 year. And there is a clause there to say the council reserves the right to remove you without compensation should there be a development. And I think that's one thing that people miss when they get that offer letter. They think it's a title deed. No. A title deed. No. Those are not permanent. Papers are not for the permanent purpose. They are renewable. They are renewable and they are temporary. And that's why even my marketeers there in the market, when they say, what I want to pass by council, I try to explain to them, say, look, yes, you have offer letters which were given you by the council to put those makeshift structures there. But a title deed is a superior document. It is sealed for 99 years. Okay? Yours is 1 year. A title deed is 99 years. In a court of law, a title deed will stand better than your temporary offer letter from the council. And the council itself, in terms of land issuers, is an agent of Ministry of Lands. Ministry of Lands simply delegates its authorities to local government to say, okay, we're a ministry, we are busy, we are everywhere. In the meantime, here is authority given to you to deal with land issues of creations and whatnot. But at any time, the Ministry of Lands does not even have to consult the council in giving a title. They can just give it, wake up and it's there, and you won't question them, because they are the overall superior body. And they can even withdraw that agency from a local authority to say, you will no longer be dealing with land. It happened in Kafue. Yeah? The Ministry of Land withdrew its authority from Kafue because of some land issues. Even here in Lusaka, remember there was a time when all council action was even suspended because of land issues. So the ministry is an overall overseer of all land issues, the Ministry of Lands in Zambia. And when you wake up and you find that where you are trading, you have a booth, you have a cantemba there, somebody comes and shows you a title, that person has basically occupied that place and has got a big authority to be there, even though perhaps you've been there for a very long time. Unfortunately, that's how it works.
Now, earlier on, you were talking about, possibilities of collusion in the local authority. And last year, we saw the Local Government Service Commission, undertaking audits to help, local authorities run better. Do you feel maybe those audits have yielded the desired results? Are you working better as local authorities, or would you like to see more?
If I said we are working better as local authorities in terms of management, I'll be lying. Because the issues are everywhere. This is a local authority where even power was cut. Civic Center. I can't remember the last time I saw a power cut at Civic Center, even before we formed government. It is unheard of. It's like a power cut at UTH. It's unheard of, even though UTH can accumulate as many bills as they can, but it's an essential facility. You just don't cut it like that. But Civic Center, the power was cut. At one time, even the accounts for Lusaka City Council were frozen by ZRA due to non-remittances of pay. We owe NAPSA, we owe NIMA, we owe suppliers. So there are a lot of issues that are going on, a lot of scandals that are still there at Lusaka City Council. And if you ask me, it comes down to putting a foot down. And unfortunately, putting a foot down and managing the officers is not the responsibility of us councillors. It's not even the responsibility of anybody in Lusaka City Council. It's the responsibility of the commission, okay? The Local Government Service Commission. They are the ones that have to look into the issue of ensuring that we have the right people in the right place, following the guidelines and rules which are supposed to be followed for people to be able to carry out their duties in the city of Lusaka. But you find that the same people are actually in the act of not even collusion but corruption. At Lima Town, you have seen that one time even published receipts, a receipt book torn, all the pages torn out by people that you are calling these are accountants at Lima Town. There's no accountability. That money was literally stolen. Have those people been brought to book? The culprits have been brought to book? Is there even an audit to say, oh, councillor, that thing you saw, we saw, maybe take us there, tell us who did it? There hasn't been any follow-up. So people are not interested in fighting corruption. So how is the city going to function? How are we going to give service delivery in terms of water, sewer, roads, street lights, garbage collection, if money meant for those services is ending up in people's pockets? And now you have people that are earning about 4,500 a month, buying Hiluxes, 3 Hiluxes each, with a Corolla on the side.
How best can sanity be restored to the local authorities?
Firing. Firing is the solution. You find the culprits, fire them, without benefits actually. A signal, a very strong signal, an anti-corruption signal, must be sent out there. If such culprits are found wanting, they should be fired. Not the issue of transferring. Somebody is involved in a land scandal, an officer is involved in a land scandal in Kafue. The next thing you know, they are transferred to Lusaka City Council.
To continue the same illegalities.
The same illegalities. And I'm glad that the chairman of the Local Government Service Commission has been very particular to say, don't transfer problems. Retire those people. They commit an offense in this city, you transfer them to another town. They commit an offense in that town, you transfer them to another city. You're basically transferring that seed of inefficiency and corruption. But of course, there are other people that are charged with ensuring that the discipline is observed in these institutions. But one man cannot run a government. You can't even blame it on one local government commission chairperson, or on one mayor or one councillor. No. A system is composed of so many people in so many departments that are working together. And all these people must have a common objective of fighting corruption. Then you're going to see it succeed. But if you just count on a councillor like myself to fight corruption at Lusaka City Council, I will never have time for anything. I will become like the Anti-Corruption Commission on myself. Because I will never have time to look at issues to do with CDF, issues to do with grants and loans and service delivery, and all these things that I'm supposed to be doing as an elected councillor. You need goodwill from people, not just as the council, but even above the council, to stamp out this scourge of corruption in local government. Otherwise, it is costing us big time. There is no money even for patching potholes. I don't know the last time you saw potholes in your area patched. Maybe there isn't even there's just gravel. That's how bad the situation is. You see? So no money for service delivery because money is going elsewhere, and you have people that are going unpaid for 2-3 months. Other people, I know, they will deny it, but it's a fact. People can't even access the NEMA when they go to hospitals, because NEMA will say, oh, your employer hasn't remitted NEMA for the past 2 years. You know, they haven't remitted NAPSA for the past 3 years. How do you enjoy your partial withdrawal like that? You know, so there are all these problems with the local authority, and there's a lot of work to be done.
Anyway, maybe you can give us some of your concluding remarks, as well as what your advice to marketeers, especially in Kamwala, who have continued putting up such illegal structures.
All right. So I think first thing first, the issue is to do with illegal structures that are being built along the line of rail. I think those people that are doing those illegal things, I think they must realize to say that they are also inconveniencing other people, like shop owners, who's, you know, in Kamwala, that's like a hive of retail wholesale trade, and there's a lot of traffic, a lot of trucks which come in and out. So if you continue to build those makeshift shops, I think a time will come when we'll do renovations in terms of road, and that will be soon. Maybe in the next 3 or 4 months, we have to do the roads in Kamwala, and when that time comes, we'll remove those booths. And I think people shouldn't complain. The booths and the makeshift structures, they're going to go, because to expand the roads, they are built inside the roads. They have entered the road reserve. So we need to remove them and make those roads. So I think when that time comes, people that are culprits of these illegal buildings should not complain, because as that room where they are building was left not because it was not for anything, but because we know to say that as the market is expanding, it will be better road networks and better facilities. And that is the reserve land that is reserved for those issues. So when the time comes when we want to expand the road or maintain those roads, then we have to remove those booths, and those people should not cry. As for the traders that are affected by the land title for the Chinese, this Chinese national who has a land title, I think for those we are still engaging together with the MP to find an amicable solution. But what we can say is that neither myself nor the MP can overrule a title that was issued by Ministry of Lands, and we can't overrule a court order. The best that we can do is to try and harmonize the situation to ensure that all those traders that are affected do not just lose out, but are accommodated in one way or the other. Either they are relocated within the market where we have space, or they are compensated for losses. That's the only thing that we can look at. If there are other people that are capable of helping above us who can overturn the title, well and good, would appreciate that.
Quite interesting. Anyway, this is where we come to the end of our program this morning. We're joined in studio by Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Smata, where we're looking at illegal structures in marketplaces. I was your host, Miriam Kaimba, and my colleague Zipporah Mshaya. For now, it's bye-bye and stay blessed.